One thing we can all agree on is the universal hate that we have for people with the main character syndrome.
Get down, boy. Get down.
Unfortunately, I can say that I've had more encounters with these types of people than the average person would. I swear, if I earned $1 for every time I had to deal with these losers, I'd have multiple mansions across the globe and an impressive car collection. If I had to rank the absolute worst types of people to be around, people with the main character syndrome gotta hold like a legendary rank on that list. Now where they rank for each of y'all might vary, but they're definitely in my top 5.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
Main character syndrome can be defined as the incessant need to be at the center of attention, often at the cost of others' successes and importance. This tendency not only profoundly affects the individual, but it also alienates others around them, straining relationships and driving people away. In other words, these goofballs are literal spotlight fiends. These types of people will really do anything to be the main person of interest, man. Like literally anything. Although they all come in different variant shapes and sizes, one thing they all have in common is the inability to accept being overlooked. With their egos being bigger than our very own solar system, they'll literally start to tweak out when they can't make a situation about themselves. Now, I wasn't exaggerating when I said that these types of people come in all variant shapes and sizes. It's like playing different positions on the court to average MVP numbers. So I'm gonna try my possible best to explain each type of main character syndrome. I'm also gonna be explaining them in order from most tolerable to least tolerable. So the next time you're put in a situation with any types of these losers, you get to decide whether you can hold them off or they're just an Avengers level threat. So the first types of people I'm gonna talk about are really underrated. I'm surprised that they're not talked about enough. But we all have that one friend who we've really known for a long time and is really cool, which is until the girls come around, of course, because once the girls come around, this guy wants to be treated like Superman. I don't understand how the personality change comes about, but it does. One moment you're having a conversation with the homies at the function, but the moment the hoes pull up, we all have that one friend that gets to treating the rest of the homies like we're beneath him. Like we should all be grateful that we breathe the same air as him. Bro will literally get to doing the most to be at the center of attention. He does not care how many friendships he ruins along the way. These types of dudes also have 100% failing rate in actually getting the girls to find them interesting. But I feel like when you look into people that are like this, you start to understand that the lack of confidence and the lack of interaction with women makes them flustered. So they act like this because they think it's what makes them seem interesting, which is understandable. But my boy, that is not an excuse. You're still a loser if you do this to your homies. But trying to be the main character in front of baddies is nothing compared to the next type of people that I'm about to describe. These set of goofballs will literally try to one-up you for everything you do because they have this false sense of self-righteousness that makes them think that they're better than everybody. So they constantly have to do things that make them look like they have the moral high ground over everybody, when in fact they only care about their self-image and they only want to be praised by others.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food?
Shut the fuck up with that shit.
Okay. But these are your internet activists who think their mom's the king, but they really live in a first world country with no life-threatening problems. This is when 17-year-old Becky, who lives in a gated community with no real-life responsibility, gets on the internet as the primary spokesperson of a movement that has absolutely nothing to do with her. She about to average 12 stories an hour just to stand out. And people like this never fail to tell the rest of us how terrible we are as people, even though they trend hop movements to seem important. Apparently, I'm a big part of the evil that plagues our society because I didn't boycott my local McDonald's over an issue that's happening literally across the world.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
If I'm down to my last 20, I'm sliding myself a Big Mac. It doesn't really even matter about your movement. Boys gotta eat.
But from my experience and what I've seen about these types of people is the extreme lack of love and attention these guys get at home. I don't know what it is and for what reason, but these guys always have a bad relationship with their parents, man. They don't miss. These guys might get everything but their parents' love and attention, so they channel that anger to be insignificant someplace else, like social media activism or activism in general. They do this to be part of something to feel important and also to have the rest of us look at them in an admirable manner. But this possibly being the forefront of their personality makes them impossible to deal with because they really wake up ready to be offended by anything for their own mental sanity. Which is pretty unbearable, but they're definitely not the worst. They're definitely better than pick me guys or pick me girls. At least in my opinion, I'd rather deal with different types of people than deal with people with pick me behavior. And I'm pretty sure we're all aware of these types of people.
Hey, bestie!
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the
the fuck, man?
I feel like if I really wanted to cook on these guys, they deserve a whole video dedicated to them. But what I will say is that I'll never understand the reason behind doing a full 180 on your personality and participating in a meat munching fest for different people's approval. But hey, whatever gets them through the night is fine with me, as long as they're not around me though. In my opinion, the worst types of people with the main character syndrome problem are those that feel like they're special and they should be treated better than everybody else. And why I feel like these guys are the least tolerable is because there's no understandable or underlying reason why these people act this way. So there's really no deeper perspective that you fail to understand. These guys just feel like they're better than you. To them, the moment they were born was the best thing that ever happened to the world. And with lacking the ability to understand the difference between confidence and arrogance, these people are gonna walk around everywhere like they're the shit. And typically when you walk around like you're the only thing that matters, people won't hesitate to remind you that
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Now, you can encounter these types of people in all walks of life, but the most accurate example that I have are JROTC kids, bro. Now, if you don't know what JROTC is, it's probably because they call it something different at your school. It's supposed to be this readiness program for kids that want to go into the army rather than college, but these types of people were easily the worst types of people to be around. I'd rather step in a ring with Mike Tyson than to be around these people for a day. About 70% of JROTC kids swore they were the shit, bro. And they didn't do anything but put up the flag before school started. I didn't really see their importance. But what I did see was an ROTC kid get sent to the hospital for doing too much. When I was a sophomore, I used to have this ROTC kid in my third period act like the world revolved around him. Bro used to talk to anybody like his dad owned the school. One day he took it a step too far by talking down on the wrong person. I don't even understand how the argument started, but ROTC kid got to talking. Even after he had won the argument, he wouldn't stop talking. And even though half the class told bro to chill, ROTC kid decided to double down and say something else about the other kid's mom, which is really stupid because it's common knowledge that the easiest way to get in a fight with another dude is to say something about their mom. When I tell you I saw the most vicious combos in display, my boy gave him nothing but straight hands. As if that wasn't enough already, my boy followed it up by picking him up and hitting him with the meanest suplex.
As surprised as we were, one thing we were sure about is that he wasn't getting up from that, at least not by himself. And that is one of many things that are bound to happen when you have main character syndrome. So knowing everything that you know now, my one advice is to avoid these types of people at all costs, because they only make your life a living hell. And if you're this kind of person,
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga.
change your life, bro. Do better with yourself. Anyway, if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. If you want to share any interesting stories about the topic, be sure to leave a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe for more content.